I'm Mr. Wright, and today we have a guest speaker in talking about how they spent their free time when they were a kid. What's your name?
My name is Rachel O'Connor.
Rachel O'Connor, thank you for coming in. So, when was your childhood?
My childhood was, I was born in the mid-1970s and I started going to school in the early 1980s.
And where did you go to school?
I went to school in Tamworth, which is inland New South Wales.
It's kind of a rural town, isn't it?
It is a rural town, and I used to live outside of the city. So we used to live in like a rural subdivision.
Okay, well, thank you. So let's start. How much of your time do you think was spent outside as compared to inside?
Most of the time was spent outside. We used to spend time inside when we went to school. But when we got home from school, we would be outside playing in the backyard. And we spent most of our weekends outside playing.
Okay. So do you think this was a result of not having as much technology as children do nowadays? Because computers, phones, stuff like that?
Yeah, we had no computers, we had no phone, we had no internet or Facebook.
Wow.
We had more things to do outside. We didn't have a lot of toys, but we had a lot of trees and grass.
And that's basically as good as toys, isn't it?
It's better than toys. And we had pet dogs and cats, guinea pigs.
Okay. So what kind of technology do you have then? I know you said you didn't have much, but...
We had a black and white TV, and we also had a bit later, a colour TV that you had to turn on and off and turn the volume on and off and find the channel. There was no remote control, and we only had 2 TV channels. There was no cable TV.
Wow.
We had one phone. It was no mobile phone. It was a rotary phone. It was one that you had to dial around the numbers. No touch screens at all.
So
no
you
message
couldn't
banks.
see anything, no?
No.
It was just you called them and that was it?
That was it, and if they didn't answer, there was no message bank.
Well, that's a bit different.
We also just had radios and cassette players to play music.
Cassette players, well, that's a bit different from today, isn't it?
Yes.
So you already talked about it, but you said your week and weekends were a little different.
On weekends, we used to play sport on Saturday mornings. We'd play hockey and my brothers would play soccer. But I used to play outside with my brothers and I would be the goalie where they would practice their soccer shooting skills. We'd play cricket. We would climb trees. We'd go down to the creek and go crawl bobbing, and we'd make our own fishing rods and things for that. We'd go down there by ourselves.
So not much supervision?
Not much supervision. Our parents just said, come back by it's dark, or we come back when we were hungry. There was no mobile phone, so we couldn't ring them. It was only a couple of blocks away. We'd ride our bikes down there or walk down there. It was part on the way near our bus stop. So when we used to catch the bus home, there was a big paddock and it was full of long grass, and we'd build tunnels. And we'd do that after school on our way home. But we could also do that on the way to the creek. Because I lived in a rural area with not many houses, there were lots of trees around and spare blocks, and my dad built us a cubby house, and all the school kids and the neighbourhood kids used to come and we'd all play in the cubby house together. We'd also go to the farm. My grandparents had a farm on the weekends. Well, they had a farm all the time. And we'd go there and we'd help them with their cows. So we'd milk the cows, and they had sheep, so we'd have to go help feed them and shear them sometimes. And if there was any baby lambs, we'd get the bottles and make up the bottles and feed them, look after the chooks, the food.
That sounds interesting. So saying that, you had a lot of chores and stuff, and it sounds like you still enjoyed those chores. But would you say you had a lot of free time, or you didn't have much free time?
No, we had a lot of free time. So we didn't watch a lot of TV, so there wasn't a lot of things just sitting around doing nothing, watching TV. But we had a lot of books. We used to read a lot of books. I used to play lots of cars, matchbox cars with my brothers, or I'd have some dolls and I'd play with them. But there weren't a lot of jobs that I had to do, but just helping around the home, and it was fun. That things we enjoyed doing.
Okay. Speaking of those type of games you play, like Matchbox Cars, and play games like Knuckles and things like that.
Yeah,
Marbles.
we play knuckles and marbles. Have a pogo stick. We play hopscotch. With the Matchbox Cars, we used to make tracks outside in the dirt and build things up, or we'd play inside as well and build tracks around.
So you'd say most of the games that you played, you made yourselves, or you used like minimal tools, like not many toys or tools. It was pretty much stuff that you could just find anywhere.
There was a lot of stuff that we could just find anywhere. We didn't. There weren't like big toy stores. There weren't a lot of toys available in department stores. We didn't have that kind of thing. So we just get the basic things, and then we'd use our imagination and make it bigger and better and to what we wanted to play.
That sounds like fun. So as a final question, just to finish things up, how do you think your childhood is different to today? How you spent your free time compared to how kids nowadays?
I think back then it was a bit slower. We weren't always connected to everyone. So we had more freedom from our parents because they weren't always there watching us or trying to ring us up on our phones. We just had to make sure that we were safe and did the right thing so they could keep letting us go out and play. We didn't have the internet or Facebook, and there were no mobile phones, so we actually went out and spent a lot of time with our friends and talked to them. And if we wanted to find out information, we had to look it up in books or read newspapers. There was no computers.
That's all we have time for today. Thank you for coming in and talking to us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Wright.
See you.